Can you take ownership for where you are at the pinpoint of all of your pain? And can you sit with that inner child and say, I'm sorry for not being honest with you? That's why we lie to ourselves so much we don't even believe what we have to say. What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of It's Giving. I am your host, Sarah Fontenot. It's giving all of the different things, and I have to ask you, please hit that little button if you have not yet. Make sure that you are subscribed to this channel because we are about family, baby. We are about healing. We are about creating conversations that create dynamic conversations in the home, and if that is something that is interesting to you, then make sure to click that subscribe button, hit that little bell so you get a notification so you see every piece of content that drops. I personally think that it's pretty awesome. I'm just saying. Today we are joined by me. It's a me episode today, guys, because I think that it's really important to just get really clear on a few things. I love having conversations with my successful friends. I love having conversations with the people that come up here and we change lives and transform things. And I also love speaking directly to what I know people are struggling with every single day. So today we are going to talk about self-love. You're going to have to excuse my voice a little bit. I've been a little raspy. I know this about me. But just deal with me because it's good information, okay? So here we go. Taking a deep dive into self-love. I often am asked the question, Sarah, how are you so strong? Or I'm also asked the question, what qualifies you to teach people or even to think about self-love? How do you build self-love within yourself? And the truth is, self-love really boils down into 6 really simple things. Those things are self-worth, self-respect, self-development, self-control, self-discipline, and self-appreciation. Doing these 6 things, and this is what we're going to dive into today, but really trying to master these 6 things will absolutely change the way that your life is, okay? I know it. Why? Because I've done it. Now, if you are one of those people and you're like, you know what, I really want to be this positive person. I am, but you just can't see the version of you that you're the most excited about being, then sometimes we have to put the power into who we're becoming instead of who we are currently. Or you can focus on the big goal, reverse engineer to the little goal so that you can actually be the person that is doing the little things. What do I mean by that? Because I probably sounded confusing. In fact, I was confused when I even said it. This is what I'm saying. When I first started inside of entrepreneurship, I love to use numbers because they're easy to measure. When I was going to these events and people were saying, you know, declare it, exclaim it. You've got to say the things. You have to say, I am. And we've talked about this before, 6-figure earner. Okay, well, that's great. But when I was starting in entrepreneurship and my lights were shut off at the house and I was scrounging up change to put enough gas in my car, and I'm calling my mom and my sister every single month, asking them to help me pay my rent. When that was my life, and I saw 6- and 7-figure earners at seminars saying, you've got to believe in yourself. You've got to say it. Okay, I'll say it. But I didn't mean it because all I was thinking about was how I was energetically relating more to the fact of my struggle than something that I haven't experienced yet. And so sometimes you just have to focus on who you're becoming. I am becoming the kind of person who. So instead of saying, I am big goal, $100,000, boom, that's really exciting, except you might not feel that way. If your lights are shut off at the house, you're struggling to pay your rent, well, reverse engineer it. $100,000 a month is only $8,333, $100,000 a month is great, but that's not what we're talking about. $100,000 a year is only $8,333 a month, which is only $277 a day. How many people do you have to expose your product or service to in order to make $100 or $277 a day? It's really that simple. And what I mean by that is when you are are consistently exposing your product or service to the amount of people that you know. So you have to know your ratios, right? They say where we lack in skill, we make up in numbers. Just so you know, social media numbers is 1 out of 100 people that you talk to will say yes after they've had 6 to 9 exposures. Okay, so it's not like you talk to 100 people and one says yes. You talk to 100 people, you stay consistent inside of exposing, and after the 6th to 9th one person says yes. So are you talking to enough people? If you're talking to someone face to face, if you're bootstrapping it, boots on the ground out here meeting new people, great. That's 1 out of 10 people usually will get started after 6 to 9 exposures. So if you feel like $100,000 feels really big to me, it feels really scary to me, and it actually makes you feel energetically anxious, then you want to make sure that you are in a space where you are calling in what you know you can do. Okay, well, I may not be that 6-figure earner, but if I only have to focus on $277 a day, I can expose my product to 10 people every single day, 5 days a week. I am becoming the kind of person who can expose my product or service to 10 people every single day, 5 days a week. I am becoming the kind of person who will follow up those people the next day or the same day. I am becoming the kind of person who will keep promises to myself. I am becoming the kind of person who will be productive and not just busy. I am becoming the kind of person who is going to do the income producing activities. Those activities are XYZ. And as you start to do those things, you start to become that person. One day you look up and it's like, oh my God, I made $277 today. And then 8 days later, maybe you make another $277. And then 9 days after that, maybe you make another $277. How many days can you make $277 consistently? And one day you look up and you're like, whoa, I am that 6-figure earner. Whoa, I've hit $8,333 a month. That's small. Whoa, I've hit $100,000 in my side business because I've focused on who I am becoming. I am becoming the kind of person who is not turned away by rejection. I am. And now those things that used to feel really far away and energetically we would push them away because we don't attract what we think about. We attract what we feel strongest about. And even if you're saying it from your mind, your body knows what's true for you. So you have to focus on who it is that you are becoming. What are 10 affirmations that you can say to yourself daily? And even more so, if you can say, I am exposing my product to 10 people every single day, 5 days a week, that you can believe in. Everyone can go out and meet 10 new people. There's no excuse, right? Instead of saying, I am making $1 million, reverse engineer it, right? Instead of saying, I am meeting 1,000 people this month, that's terrifying. Let's focus on, I am exposing my product or service to 10 people a day, 5 days a week. That's 50 people, right? Face to face. 1 out of 10 get started. That's 5 new clients in that week after 6 to 9 exposures. So what conversations are you having with yourself? And to remember that how you feel is what will perpetuate your life. So you have to be sure to disrupt what it is that you were thinking. Did you know, statistical fact right here, okay? This is a statistical fact. We all have heard that we have 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day. Fun fact, did you know that over 90% of those thoughts were from yesterday? That was mind-blowing to me. So if you are constantly living and thinking inside of your past, how do you create a new future? If you are constantly thinking and feeling strongly about anxiousness, about nervousness, about fear and doubt, and you're living in the constant thought of worst case scenarios, how can you disrupt your thought to get into a positive state, right? Being inside of a peak state. Well, number one, it starts with the small wins. You know what? I said I was going to wake up 5 minutes earlier, and I did it. In another video, we talked about morning vision. We talked about the halo. We talked about how to really set your day up powerfully. I'll connect that video somewhere like up here. Kenny, can we connect that video somewhere up here? I see people do that in YouTube videos all the time. They like point up here and the little thing pops up. So I'm hoping that right now there's a thing that's popping up because I don't speak this language, but I'm sure we can make that happen, right? Yeah. Okay, Kenny said yes, that means it's a yes, because I don't know the rules. How do you do it? You do it by celebrating your small wins. I said I was going to wake up 5 minutes earlier, and stop making these big, gigantic, we just talked about it, right? The big things sometimes are too far away. Stop saying I'm going to go to the gym for an hour a day when you haven't gone for 5 minutes in 2 years. Sometimes it starts with doing sit-ups next to the bed, and that's a celebrate. Sometimes it starts with waking up 5 minutes earlier instead of it being, I'm going to wake up an hour earlier and I'm going to meditate and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. No, let's start with 5 minutes, 5 days a week. Start small. And you know what? When you do it that first day, you celebrate yourself. Oh, I woke up 5 minutes earlier. And you're already starting to shift yourself into peak state. You talk to those 10 people in a day face to face. Oh, I talked to my 10 people in a day. And this is the thing. When you honor your commitments, you don't intimidate yourself out of the results. If you're only focused on the result, it's so easy to get lost because it's so big. A lot of the times I got lost because my goals were so big. So I have to ask you, number one, you can't hit a goal that you can't see. So what is the big goal? And I would like for you, and I'll include a sheet below here where you can write down what are the next 5 steps. Right? I love how Michael E. Gerber has an efficiency quadrant, and he talks about how there's 4 parts to the quadrant. And number 1 is if it's important and it's urgent, you do it now. If it is important, but it's not urgent, you plan it. If it is not important, but it's urgent, you delegate it. And if it's not important and not urgent, you drop it, right? Most of us spend the majority of our time focusing quadrant 4, which are the things that are not important and not urgent, like scrolling on social media, reading the latest gossip, gossiping with our friends, the water cooler talk, right? What are the most urgent and important tasks that need to happen inside of your business? What needs to happen to develop those relationships? What needs to happen for those new exposures? What needs to happen for you to love on yourself? Is it, I'm going to take a bubble bath for the first time in a long time, and I'm going to sit here and I'm not going to listen to anything except for my favorite music? Maybe you want to have a glass of wine. I don't know. Whatever the thing is, what is the most urgent and important thing that needs to happen for your mental health, for your spiritual health, for your emotional health, for your business health, and your energetic health? Because if you aren't taking care of you, let me tell you, it doesn't matter how much money you make. If you do not feel good inside of your own skin, it'll never be enough, right? So what are the 5 most urgent, most important, aligned income producing activities or aligned mental health activities that need to happen for you? And what are the small wins along the way? We use numbers because $100,000, $8,333 a month, you could start celebrating, making $277 a day. Does that make sense? Y'all, was that clear? Yeah? We're good? Yes, sir. Okay, perfect. So then you have to ask yourself, sometimes a lot of the times why we are not able to get into a space of feeling, we can't get into a space of wanting to keep promises to ourselves is because of where we are living in our minds. And so we have to condition how it is that we're thinking. What does that mean? It means, number 1, how are you feeling physically? Do you feel like you want more energy? Are you excited about losing weight? Are you excited about gaining muscle mass? Are you excited about getting better quality sleep? Stop with all the blue light at night. It's scientifically proven that we sleep worse when we are watching TV right before bed. This is why our parents and our grandparents, well, they didn't really have TVs like that or as much blue light or as much radiation as we're getting in this electromagnetic field. However, I will say, but that's why our parents read before they go to sleep, right? It is a way to relax your mind. It's putting positive things or romantic things or spicy things, whatever it is that you like, into your mind to create imagery before you go to sleep. You could also create a list of the most important, most urgent things that you need to do the following day. So when you wake up in the morning after you've done your morning regimen that we've talked about in another video, then you can get to it. Hit the ground running and start your day. So where do you live physically? If you want to lose 20 pounds, Are you going to the gym? Can you do sit-ups next to the bed? And by the way, can I just say on a complete side note, this is going to be an absolute shameless plug. I have a nutrition coach, and what I've learned is you cannot out train a bad diet. It is impossible. And I'm not telling anyone how to do anything, but don't be the person that's constantly talking about wanting to do something without doing it. Don't be the person that's constantly saying these big goals and then lying to yourself. And we're going to get to this a little bit later. But really and truly, if you want to lose weight, you really have to look at the way that you eat. And so for me, it looks like we need proteins, right? We need fruits, we need vegetables, we need things that have less parabens and toxins and all of the things that are terrible for our bodies. So I have a nutrition coach. I will connect the link to my nutrition coach below if you want to get started on a nutrition program. I personally have to supplement my diet because I do forget to eat. I'm always on the go. So if you are a busy entrepreneur, I do not want to think about how do I get enough protein? I do not want to think about how do I get enough vitamins and minerals. My team tells me all the time, Sarah, they have to sit me down and be like, you need to eat something, okay? Because all I know is go, 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 go. And that's the last thing on my mind. It's like, we got work to do, okay? Food is getting in the way. But if I can drink something, there's always cups dirty in my house, okay? There are so many cups. It's because it's easier for me to drink, especially if you're on the go. It's only 200 calories. I've lost 38 pounds or 36 pounds. I've put on over 20 pounds of lean muscle mass. Your girl's in the gym and everything, but I've learned that you really can't outwork a bad diet. So I will connect that link. Secondly, if you are excited about losing weight, I was talking to a girlfriend, okay, and she told me, I don't know what the method is called, I don't know who the guru is, but she swears by this. She said, Sarah, I was not trying to lose any weight. I get on the treadmill, I put the treadmill on the highest incline that it could go, and I walk at three. Okay, this is not a fast walk, but it's all the way at the highest incline. I walk at 3 for 30 minutes. This girl lost 12 pounds in 12 days. She didn't have 12 pounds to lose, to be completely honest. I was blown away. So now I think that this has become a thing where if you want to if you're looking to lose weight in a way where you're building muscle because you're walking uphill, she's like, I was drenched in sweat going for a walk. Okay. Really incredible way. So if you want to partner health with fitness, obviously that's really amazing. 30 minutes in the morning, just doing something. And again, celebrating yourself along the way. If you did 20 squats by your bedside, celebrate. Congratulations. You are freaking on your way. In the same way with where you live physically, where do you live emotionally? Are you the person that's always beating yourself up? Are you the person that is constantly thinking worst case scenario? By the way, we have heard this said time and time again, and I live by this as far as scientists say about the level of our thoughts creating dis-ease, right? We don't have ease. We have dis-ease, disease. We create diseases inside of ourselves because we have too much cortisone inside of our bodies. All of these, we go in a fight or flight complex. So now we're changing the way that oxygen is going to our brain. We're doing all of these things that is actually making our body sick. So can you get still? How do you shift your state emotionally? Personally, I focus on breathing. If I am really in a space of like, oh, you got me all the way jacked up. Okay, if that is me, I have to pause and I breathe. I breathe in for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. I release for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, in for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4, release 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. These are really simple things that you can start to incorporate in your day to take your body out of autopilot, because we automatically do this thing. When you do anything enough, I immediately go to anger. I immediately go to jealousy. I immediately go to anxiousness. This actually becomes a part of your personality, right? A personality is nothing more than a combined allotment of habits that we've created over the years based on how we respond to circumstances and situations. Best thing about a personality is It's not cemented. At any given moment, you can choose to change the way that you respond to things, but you have to be intentional about it. So, breathing is an absolute game changer when it comes to shifting your emotional state. Again, going to that video, checking out morning vision, getting into peak state, absolute game changer. Because the thing about feelings are, they will fail you every single time. Okay, you're never gonna feel like doing the work. I don't feel like going to the gym. In fact, I have a love-hate relationship with my trainer. I hate him. Why? Because I get beat down. But then I see the results that I'm starting to get. I see how strong I'm feeling. And I'm like, oh, okay, I love my trainer. Just kidding. But while I'm in it, I don't feel, and I have to drive. You mean I have to wake up early, get in my car, pay for gas to drive to go have someone beat me down to the ground, at which point my body aches for literal days. I have to drink water. It doesn't taste good. What is it? I feel like now I'm starting to taste bottle when I drink water. Okay. It's not great. It's just not a great experience. I say all of that to say that we don't feel like doing the things that are great for us. Why? Because negativity is natural and we have to be positive on purpose. These feelings of ours, think about relationships. Well, he made me feel, well, feelings are not facts. They are valid, but they are not facts. So how do you want to show up for you inside of your life? Right? Where do you live mentally? That is also very important. What are you doing to make sure that your mind stays sharp? I know for me, I love to read. I have a game that I play. There's actually two games that I like to play. I call them my brain games. One is an app called Impulse, but I personally really love the game called Elevate. Elevate has 5. You could just do a daily challenge, and it challenges you in reading. It challenges you in writing. It challenges you in speaking. It challenges you in, they're little games that you play that keep your brain sharp. I learned from playing this game, number one, I'm actually not very good at processing information immediately, which makes sense because I'm always talking about, some of you might be able to relate, when I get information and I have to sit with it before I know what to do with it. So I literally have to ruminate. I'm not really that person that just off the cuff is good to go, right? People are blowing up my phone, y'all. It's wild and it is kind of distracting. So back to y'all. I say that to say, playing little brain games to stay sharp. Another thing that you can do is reading, right? Learning, all of these different things. What skills are you developing? Working on something? Because I'll tell you, getting better at something that you're passionate about automatically makes us feel better, automatically makes us feel freer, automatically makes us feel like, ooh, I got this, right? I'm doing better. I made $277 more today because I found a better way to market. Right? Those types of things are really great for the mental. Again, maybe it's taking a bubble bath. Maybe it's getting a day where you get to sleep in. Whatever it may be, write it down. Be clear so that you can start to do the things so you can be the person. And of course, we do not want to forget about spiritually. How are you pouring into your spirit? Now, I'll tell you right now, you play almost any gospel song on the planet, I'm probably going to know the song because I have car concerts. You hear me? I'm in the shower. You would think I am Tamala Mann, okay? Take Me to the King. I have her. You would think I was Mary Mary, even though that's not their name. I'm both of them, okay? I have both of their. When I'm in the shower, oh, it is a concert, okay? That is one of the ways that I pour into myself spiritually. Going to church, listening to things that are going to reinforce my spirit, because the truth is, life is hard. And honestly, when I was struggling to put gas in my car, struggling to pay my rent, over here getting burned by people, being disrespected or whatever it may be, when that was my life and those were the things, it was only the reinforced spirit that kept me going. So again, going back to, what conversations are you having with yourself? What are the mantras that you're having and saying every single day? And lastly, we want to focus on finances. Now, I know that this is not the business topic. This is not the business podcast. There's all of those podcasts you can go and learn about how to make the money. Here, we're here to talk about how to get to self. However, is this thing on? You can hear me clear? Money is important, okay? Don't let anyone tell you that it's not. And anyone that says that it's not has never had any. Money is important. We need it to live. And I don't need, they say money doesn't buy you happiness. No, it doesn't buy you happiness, but it buys you choices. The choice in the partner you have, the choice in the car you drive, the choice in the school your kids go to, the choice in the neighborhoods you live in. Money is important. So what is your financial goal? There is no goal too big and no goal too little for whatever it is that you want for your life. If you're excited about making $40,000 a year and that's what you're making, I love that for you. And you should be very proud to be in a space where you are happy with yourself. And if you want to make $40 million a year, I love that for you. The most important thing is to get clear on your personal goals so that you can feel good with that person that you see in the mirror, because it is a superpower and a life hack to be in integrity with yourself. Okay, so I want to use an example. I want to use an example of the tried and true story of the child who dad is coming to get on Friday because mom and dad have split up. And now every other Friday, dad comes to pick up the child. And it's 6:00 p.m. That's when dad's supposed to be there. And so on that first Friday, let's say you're 8 years old, 8-year-old child goes and is sitting at the window waiting at 5:30 for when dad's going to get there. Well, 6:00 comes and the child, no problem, no harm done. Dad's a little bit late. 6:30 rolls around. Whoa, wait, where's dad? What's up going on? Okay, no harm, no foul. 7:30 comes along and he calls and says, I'm not going to be able to make it. And now baby 8-year-old is crying. They're in tears. They are so upset because dad didn't make it, but it's okay. The next weekend that it's his weekend, he's going to come and he's going to be there and it's going to be a great time. Okay, well, the next weekend, the same thing happens. And the next weekend after that, he's super late and only gets to see you for the evening when he's supposed to have you for the weekend. And the next weekend after that, it's this continuous thing where dad continues to overpromise and underdeliver, overpromise and underdeliver, overpromise and underdeliver. And what starts to happen to the child, that 8-year-old's questions start to turn into statements. Instead of saying, well, why isn't dad here? Does he not love me anymore? That turns into, dad doesn't love me, which turns into, maybe I'm not lovable. And we start to create these stories that become the autopilot or the underlining story in which we live our lives. Now, this is the craziest part. We are the dad and we are the child. We are the person that is constantly breaking promises to ourselves. How many New Year's resolutions are we going to say we're going to go to the gym starting January 1st and February 3rd, we haven't started or we quit already, right? How many times are we going to tell ourselves, ooh, we are not going to deal with this type of toxic partner anymore? And it's the same person with a different name and the same type of circumstance because we can't avoid the drama. We toxically trauma bond to someone again, right? How many times are we going to say, this is the year that I make more money because I'm developing my skills? And we start one thing and then we switch to another and then we switch to another and then we switch to another. We never actually take the time to get good at any one thing because we're constantly following the fads that are happening in the world. How long are we going to allow ourselves to be out of integrity with self? That was a whole FaceTime. Right? Are you in integrity with yourself? Can you allow yourself to be the person? And speaking of our inner child, because that's really what we're speaking to, is that we have to go back and heal the trauma that has come with this child, heal the wounds that we had, heal the stories that we've created that have really now kind of created cages around how we move and shake in life on a subconscious level. We don't even know they're there, right? And so one of the things that I love to do, I don't love to do it, actually, I hate doing it. I don't wish healing on anyone, and yet I wish healing on everyone, because it is the ugliest, hardest, most challenging journey I've ever been on in my entire life. And also, I think there is power and yet like pain in knowing that I am at the pinpoint of all of my pain. Everything that has happened in my life has been a representation of the decisions that I've made for the most part, 99% of the time. And that, for lack of a better term, sucks, right? So where is it that we need healing for that child? One of the ways that I have gone to really identify the different stories that I've had is I did this thing called an I'm sorry list. I actually learned this from a seminar. I was not prepared at all. But inside of my I'm sorry list, you make a list of all the people that have ever done you wrong, and you make a list of all the people that you have wronged. Now, if you decide to write the letter and send it or press send on that text message, that is completely up to you. That's what I chose to do. Because what you're supposed to do in this exercise is take ownership for the people that have hurt you and for the people that you've hurt, and you tell them that you're sorry. Now, the evolution comes because how they respond or the lack thereof, are you okay with that? I thought I was evolved. So I was like, yes, I'm sending all of my messages to absolutely every person. Shouldn't have done that. That I was not prepared. I was not prepared for the lack of response, and I was not prepared for the responses that I got. One of the people that a fiance of mine, one of the two, I sent a I'm sorry note to, and I got hit up later, 2 days later, by one of our mutual friends saying, wow, Sarah, that apology was really beautiful. Apparently, I had sent him the text message while he was at a day party, and he read it to everyone. So that wasn't great. And the only reason why I even felt a way about it was because I wasn't in integrity with myself when I sent it. I was literally creating stuff of all the ways that I was in the wrong, trying to be this bigger person. But the truth is, I didn't actually feel like a lot of the things that I was taking ownership of was my opportunity to take. It was his opportunity. And because I wrote this big, long message of all the things that I was making up in both of our minds probably, and he was like, oh yeah, I knew it was her fault. Oh yeah, that's why we ended. Oh yeah, it was like this mother, I'm just disgusted, right? Because I was out of integrity with myself. If I would have been honest in what I wrote, I wouldn't have cared who read that message. I wouldn't have cared who saw the message. I wouldn't have cared how many people he shared it with. This is why integrity with self is so important. Now, I say all of this to say that because inside of understanding who hurt you, and I mean all the way back to childhood, this is where I identified that story that said, if I let you in, you'll betray me. Because that was one of the most hurtful moments of my life. So when you make this list, I know I'm giving you guys a lot today, okay? There's a lot of homework to do on this one. But if you go back to that list and you look at the people that have wronged you in your life, that have hurt you, hurt your heart, hurt your soul, hurt you physically, whatever it may be, can you take ownership for where you are at the pinpoint of all of your pain? And can you sit with that inner child and say, I'm sorry for not being honest with you? That's why we lie to ourselves so much we don't even believe what we have to say, right? Can we just be honest and in integrity with ourselves? Now, this is the thing. Even when we are absolute trash, like, I mean the worst, if that's the best that we have to give in that moment, that's amazing. Because sometimes this whole human experience thing, we're garbage, okay? It just is what it is. Like, hey, I'm going to call it what it is. And that's what it is. I don't know anybody that has a bunch of perfect days. I know I don't. But inside of being in integrity and inside of identifying what stories have I created? Did you create a story that said, I'm not enough? Did you create a story that said, I'm not lovable? Did you create a story that said, if I let you in, you'll betray me? Did you create these stories that are on autopilot inside of your life, inside of your subconscious? And the truth is, it's scientifically proven that we will fight tooth and nail to validate the stories subconsciously by seeking out the people, the places, the things, the experiences, and the opportunities that make that story true. So if my story is, I'm not enough, I will be seeking partners that speak down to me, that are rude or disrespectful, because I'm never going to be enough. I choose people that don't have the same kind of alignment in morale or ethics or belief or love of self, right? Because I have to validate that story. If one of your stories is, I'm not important, then you're constantly going to put yourself in positions to where you're not important. And it's on a subconscious autopilot. It's not something that you just decide or even know that's even happening, right? And so inside of that, I really challenge you to challenge yourself to identify what stories do you have inside of your life so that you can get started on the healing journey. And it's a forever thing. But when you can have compassion for yourself inside of it, when you can say, you know what? Things aren't amazing. I'm not perfect. I don't try to be perfect because I'll never be. When you can really get to that point, you can have compassion. When you can have compassion for yourself, you can really love yourself. The good, the bad, the ugly, take off all of the things. Are you happy with that person that you see in the mirror? And that is the work. So guys, if no one has told you today, you are freaking phenomenal. Bomb.com. Nothing can stop you but you, but you've got to be able to do something about it. If you have not yet, please make sure, click that subscribe button below, hit that little bell so you get a notification with every video. I love you guys to life. And until next time, I'll see you because it's giving renewed. It's giving healed. It's giving refreshed. It's giving reset. It's giving love of self. I love you guys.